Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It's bright and freaking early, man. It's 3 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Okay, for the last hour or two, I've been going through the news feeds trying to figure out what I was going to talk about today in this video. And I had a couple ideas. There's a couple news stories. There's one about Isaac Hayes III, who is the grandson of Isaac Hayes from like Shaft. He did the music for Shaft. He was the soul man from the 60s and 70s. And this is his grandson, who's also a producer in music. And he ran into a Karen, and I believe his house is in Georgia. And she asked him, why don't you just be white? And she said some other stuff to him. And I was going to talk about that. And then I saw there's a war going on in the whole MAGA set. The whole Trump supporter set has divided into two camps. And one camp is the original MAGA for America for Americans, the original mindset. And they're angry that Donald Trump has gotten so many billionaires and and people that want brilliant foreign people. Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, they are open to immigrants from other countries coming to work here, brilliant people coming to work here. So it's created a rift in the MAGA landscape, a big argument now going on there. X is in turmoil this morning. There's all sorts of arguments going on there. I was going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about neither one. I gave you guys the quick rundown about what both those stories are about. I'll put the links down below. So if you're interested in either one of those stories, the links will be right down below. Okay, what I'm going to talk about is the most influential thing that happened to me this year. As this was happening to me, it was a health crisis that I had back in September, and it scared the hell out of me. I honestly thought I was going to die. I'm going to tell you about that. The reason I haven't talked about it is because I wanted to make sure it was past, and I am healthy. I know what the situation was now. It wasn't what I thought it was, and I really didn't want to talk about it. I was worried about people thinking I was going to die. I was worried about insurance situations and money and what might happen, and people thinking if I was going to die or something. So I didn't talk about it, and I'm going to live as far as I know. This incident, I believe, isn't going to kill me, but I'm going to talk about it. And this I've never told you guys this story, and this happened back in September, and it changed the way. It really made me realize more my mortality. So as we come to the end of the year, I'm looking back over this year, and this one incident was the biggest, I'd have to say, a turning point in my life, because it made me really realize my mortality. I really honestly thought, I started thinking, how's my family going to take this when they find out I'm going to die? I really started to think, maybe I was being a hypochondriac, but I don't know. It really scared me. Let me tell you what happened. This was back in September. I believe it was around September 18th or 19th. It was really still warm, very humid here in Connecticut. It was probably almost 90 degrees. And I exercise. Exercise has become my addiction. I exercise. I do this video every day until it's downloaded by about 4 a.m. I answer a few questions from you guys, a few comments, and I check the analytics to see the first comments coming in. And after that, I kind of put the video to the back of my mind, and I start my workout about 4 a.m. And I work out from 4 a.m. till 10 a.m. Then I start doing my painting work and stuff like that. These other hacks I have to make money. And I started doing my actual work from like 10 a.m. till about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So it's a long day for me. But the workout, I have a long workout. I lift weights here for the first hour, and then I go for a 3.5 mile walk around town. Then I come back, I get on the treadmill for an hour and 15 minutes for 4.25 miles. So I do a total of over 7 miles every day, still today. And then back then it was in the summer, so I mountain biked every day. And that day I did about 20 miles on my mountain bike. And I became severely dehydrated. As I reached the end of the 20-mile ride, I realized that I had overdone it. And my throat was so parched it actually hurt. I forgot to bring a water bottle with me. I usually have my backpack with all my necessities, my bike pump and screwdrivers and vice grips, but I had everything but water. And I was very dehydrated, extremely. It got to the point where it hurt. Like closing and opening my mouth and swallowing was painful, but I had to get to the end of my ride. I didn't have it. I was sweating out I didn't realize how dehydrated I was. I get back and I should drink a lot of water. I should have rehydrated myself, but I didn't. And by the next day, I had a fever. I thought it was just a regular flu or something like that. I almost never get sick. I haven't gotten sick in years. So I had a fever, and I noticed a few things body-wise. I don't want to get too vivid here, but going to the bathroom, urinating, I wasn't going very often. And I just thought it was the flu or something. I didn't put much thought into it. My temperature only went up to about not even 100. It was maybe a degree or two high. It's very small, low-grade fever. So I just laid around all day. Kind of took it easy, and that was it. And then my temperature started to go down that afternoon, late that afternoon. And I was just gonna go lay down and read a book. Take it easy. I still wasn't feeling. I hadn't eaten anything. And I still wasn't feeling great, so I was going to go lay down in late afternoon, probably about 5 or 6, just watch TV and nod off for the rest of the afternoon. And I went to the bathroom. This is, I warn you, this is kind of graphic. And I went to urinate, and it was blood. I was urinating blood. That's never happened to me before. I can't believe I'm really talking about this. It's very personal, but nothing has scared me like that scared me that day. Looking down and seeing that, I'm almost shaking right now. I've had all sorts of things. I've had bronchial pneumonia. My temperature's gone up to like 104.6 in the past. I've had all sorts of health scares. I had a massive GI bleed. I was throwing up blood, but this scared me worse than any of that. So I look right away. I start putting my shoes on, like I'm going to go to the hospital. The first thing I'm thinking is, I'm dying. My organs are melting. Why is this coming out there? And there was quite a bit. So I'm like, well, let's see if it happens again. So I drink a lot of water, and I go again, and it happens again, and it happens again, and it's more and more. And it happens again for about 3 hours. Now I'm convinced I'm dying. I look it up on Google, and I advise you guys not to do this. Doctors tell you don't do this, because the first things that are listed are the worst things. And there's cancer. The biggest one is cancer. Cancer of the kidneys, cancer of the bladder, cancer of the prostate, and kidney disease, and all these other things. And there's very few results that aren't life-threatening when that happens to you. So I'm really convinced. I'm dying here. My heart. I swear to God, I could hear my heart pounding. It was my ears. Like I don't mean the pulse in my ears. I mean I could hear my heart pounding inside my chest through my ears. Not the blood pumping, but the actual sound of my heart beating. I'm getting goosebumps now. I put my shoes on. I was like, okay. I was terrified to go to the hospital, and I said, okay, let's just see. My temperature went down, and it started to cut back, and it stopped. So I didn't go to the hospital, and I looked up more possibilities, and there's this thing called runner's urine. I forgot what it's called. It's for joggers that jog too much, people that exercise too much. It causes an infection in the bladder for people that exercise too much. So I was like, that could be it. So I just kept convincing myself, well, that's it. That's all. That's just what it must be. And it went away. And I was like, oh, so I felt better the next day. And I started noticing situations going to the bathroom, and it was cloudy, and that went on for weeks. So I finally made an appointment with the doctor, finally. And this is what happened. I got very dehydrated, and it caused a urinary tract infection, and that's all it was. It was from severe dehydration, and I'm not going to die. So I got all checked out. I got a physical. I remember when I told you guys I was getting a physical, like in December. In December, I got a physical that checked my blood, and I checked urine, checked everything, and I'm fine. I'm gonna live. There's nothing wrong. I have no cancer. I have no, well, as far as I know, so I'm gonna live. But it really changed the way. I mean, it was just. I look at life differently now. I really do. And I started looking. When I started reading the paper and looking at news articles, I kept seeing people like in their 40s, their 50s, their 60s, 30s, 40s. Just, all of a sudden they find out they have cancer. And within 2 months, like my father, they're dead. My father was 33 when he found out he had terminal brain cancer, malignant brain cancer. And he was dead within months. And I started thinking about that. I've always known that, I always say that, life is a gift, not a given, and you really should enjoy every day because you really don't know. We all assume that we're going to live till 60 or 70 or 80. 60 is only going to be a year for me from now. I'm going to be 59 next month. But it really changed the way I think. Like this Christmas, this Thanksgiving, I made sure that I tell my family I love them. Every time I hang up the phone, every time I say goodbye to my family, I say, I love you. You never know when it's going to be your last day. It really changed the way I think. It really made me realize my mortality. None of us know for sure if you're going to be here next month, next summer, next Christmas. It's not a given. It doesn't matter what your age is or what you feel like right now. Your life could end. I hate to be harsh like this, but that's what I started to realize. So you need to really, don't waste your time. Tell the people around you love them. Spend time with the people you love. Don't harbor grudges. These are things that I really started to think about in the last couple months. I hope this doesn't sound too corny, but it really changed the way I look at life, because I thought I was going to die. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll be back later with another one, you guys. Have a good Friday.